I'm going to show you how to invite the birds. And it all starts with this. Garden. It doesn't look that beautiful because it's just that time of year. Everything's dead. But planting season will soon be coming. But if you look at my garden here, I have all kinds of birdhouses. A birdhouse on almost every post, a birdhouse over there, 1, 2, 3 birdhouses. And yes, I love having birds around because they're awesome. And then I love the sound, so I get to wake up to this almost like English countryside. But I have these birds here because that's actually benefiting my garden. So I built birdhouses specific to violet blue-green swallows, which are predatory on flying insects. So any kind of insect that might want to eat my garden that has to fly in usually gets swooped up from the air by violet blue-green swallows. So they're beautiful to watch, and they're actually, they're actually helping me keep my garden nice and healthy. I have plenty of birdhouses here. You don't want to have too many birdhouses all in one place. You kind of want to give each family their own space. But there's a spot over here that I've been thinking about that will be the home for this home for birds. All right, that is good and solid. It's going to hold up to the winds. It should hold up for a couple years anyway. Some things I think about when I'm putting up a bird box. Well, first of all, if you see right now, it's early morning. I got lots of bright sun going into my face. So the sun came up from the east. I try to face my bird boxes to the east because if you think about whatever's inside of there, especially hatchlings, they spent the night, it was a long, cold night. They got to get warm as soon as possible. So the only way that's going to happen is if they get that bright sunrise sun coming onto the face of the bird box and it warms up their house. So that's really good for them. Other things, I have them high enough so this place is relatively safe from predators. Usually it's about 6 to 8 feet high, but depending on the species of bird, that all can change. And again, if you really want to target a specific kind of bird that's in your area, you want to look up on the internet, and all this information is all the way out there. Other things I think about though, when I'm putting up a bird nesting box is, so birds, you think about, you try to get into the brains of, they have tiny little bird brains, but actually they pack a lot in that tiny little cranium of theirs. And especially the parent birds, they have to care for the young that's inside that bird box. And they're always thinking about predators. So having a tree like this or a big bush nearby the bird box is really good because that bird can land in there. It's safe from hawks, safe from other predators. It can have a good look around, see if the coast is clear. Then they can go and make that journey to the bird box because a lot of times birds won't just fly from very far distances right to the bird box because they know other predators are looking to see where those babies might be. So yeah, birds are pretty smart. But don't try to think too hard about putting up a bird box because it's just like planting a garden. If you get all worried about needing to get everything perfect and you never get around to putting anything in the ground, it won't grow. It's the same thing with a bird box. Just put it up. And I've had great luck with every bird box that I put up every spring. I get a breeding pair of birds that goes and nests in there and has families, and then it makes the world a better place. It makes me feel awesome, and yeah, I'm going to keep doing it every year. I hope you do too. Take care. Happy spring. Spring is coming, and this year I'm going to get a jump start on it. So when I'm in the mood, I spend this special day every day. I've got to do some spring cleaning. And it's not for me, it's for my neighbors. Ooh, there's a bird. So last year, around this time, I put up 16 brand new birdhouses. There were already, I put up probably at least 20 birdhouses before that. But the great thing about putting up those 16 birdhouses, every single birdhouse got occupied by a breeding pair of birds that came in that spring. So it's really cool. So when you think about 16 plus 10 more birdhouses, 26 birdhouses, that's a lot of birds to invite on your property. So there's a birdhouse there, there's a birdhouse there, there's a birdhouse here. And let's just see what happened. There are certain ways that you want to have a birdhouse, but they can come in all shapes and sizes, and they can be pretty or ugly. But one thing that I have with all of my birdhouses is a way to open them up. And so here's a little door. The roof comes out, and I can see right here that a bird has been, well, they used it last year. Here, check that out. Go up there and look. So you see that? That is totally awesome. And one thing that I'm just seeing right now, which is totally awesome, is that in there, oh, keep looking in there. So right here, with these big branches right here, I know birds well enough to know that these big, huge branches are from a house wren. So they bring in big branches like that, and they nest it in there. But then, when the house wrens raised their families and left, look at that right there. I can get some of this stuff out. And that is finer, more like grass and feathers, which I don't know what kind of bird came in afterwards and still used this house. So I had two different kinds of birds that utilized this simple little bird box. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool discovery. But what I do every year, this time of year, is, it sounds kind of weird because they put the birds that came in here spend so much effort putting in all this nesting material. But birds really like a really nice, clean birdhouse to start new again. Because what happens is this stuff gets dirty, birds that poop and they do all those sort of things. A lot of times they get occupied by wasps and things like that. So if they just have a brand new empty house to start from, to just get started with, they like it a lot better. And if you take all this dirty material out, it also decreases the parasite load. So there are different kinds of flies and wasps and beetles and things like that that can actually be harmful to birds. So it's good to clean out all of this nesting material. And but one thing that you'll notice, if you put up a birdhouse, it's so awesome. You'll get a breeding pair of, say, house wrens. But those house wrens, they'll travel clear across the country to overwinter, and then they come back to this area. Well, they know that this is a house that they can come back to. So you may have the same nesting pair of birds for however long they live to be. So 15 years, 20 years, maybe just 5 years, just depends. So that's pretty cool. So if you really pay attention, you'll know the exact Mr. and Mrs. Bird that that goes into your nesting box. So this is just one of the birdhouses. Let's go see what we have over here. Like I said, I do this every year. Easy to do, and it's kind of fun. This one, the lid, put a little hinge on there, and it opened itself up. We had a windstorm the other day, so that may have just flipped it up, but a little bit of nesting material in there. As you can see, all these bird boxes, they come in all different shapes and sizes, but that is all cleaned out, ready to go. But some of them are uglier than others. Birds, they don't care, but they do want to meet specifications. So we're going to do a video after this about building birdhouses. They can be pretty or ugly, but there are specifications so you can attract the certain kind of bird that you really want. It's very important because there's some birds that you do not want on your property, because if you get the wrong kind of bird, it'll actually damage all the other birds that are around. So, okay. 2 birdhouses and a whole bunch more to go. Here's another one. You can see that they're spread apart. You want to give birds some space, but they don't mind each other too much. These are spread about 30 feet from one another. Watch yourself there. I built these birdhouses with wood that I just found around, kind of scrap wood. And as you'll see, some of them are prettier than others. Looks like this one opens from the side. It's kind of nice to have these side opening ones because, believe it or not, as the birds are nesting in the spring, if you're aware of it, you can hear some of the hatchlings and stuff. And sometimes the birds, they don't even mind. You can open up, just take a quick glimpse and see if the birds laid eggs or if things have hatched. You can observe what your feathered friends are up to. And a lot of times the birds don't mind. But yeah, this is what I do every spring. Clean out the bird boxes and invite the neighbors to come back. Ooh, come over here. Look at this. I don't know if you've ever had chickens, but if you do, you'll realize that one chicken doesn't lay just one egg a year. If conditions are right, they'll lay eggs all throughout the year, or at least the summer. Well, the same thing goes with wild birds. If they have the right habitat and it's under the right conditions and it's the right pair, they'll come in, lay their eggs. The eggs will hatch from like hatchlings to fledglings, and then those fledglings will fly off on their own, start new families. But again, if conditions are right, that same pair of breeding birds will come back to this bird box, lay some more eggs, raise another family of birds, and that might happen 2 or 3 times a year. So if you get everything right, good habitat, good nesting box, a good pair of birds, one little place like this might be able to raise 3 or 4 families of birds in 1 year. So it's cool. If you like what you've just seen, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.